A Hat in Time is a recent game involving a small, cute girl that goes on adventures involving some dark turns and jokes. People regard the game typically as new and innovative while borrowing concepts from other games and using them in a more original, creative way. However, a while ago, a YouTuber known as Moleman111 released a series of videos from A Hat in Time appearing to be hidden cutscenes, with bits of cryptic information tossed here and there. Not to mention that most of the videos made little to no sense on their own. All videos appeared to contain areas unseen in the game itself, seeming to hint that perhaps there was a cut storyline involved. But this wasn't the case, as supposedly the whole thing was announced to be a joke from the DEV team, which makes little sense to me for reasons that will soon become clear over the course of the video. Before I get into all these cutscenes and what the story behind them is, I have to get into the Hat Adult herself. At the end of the beta for A Hat in Time, there's a small playable section featuring Hat Kid Grown Up. The section appears to take place in a city similar in aesthetic to the videos featured in Moleman's channel. Hat Adult is to look into a bookstore window before the game ends. A lot of speculation came from this, one rather popular theory being the entire game was a figment of Hat Kid or Henny's imagination. Hat Kid's name early on was revealed to be Henny through the hidden cutscenes, but this was revealed to be untrue as certain clues were discovered later showing Hat Kid and Hat Adult in the same place. Another theory came up that said that Hat Adult went into the past, or Hat Kid went into the future and teamed up in some kind of way. However, this one isn't correct either, as I believe that Hat Kid and Hat Adult are two very different people. In order to understand where I'm coming from here, I have to get into the meaning of the story and the story of the hidden cutscenes somewhat. And by somewhat, I mean a lot. That's why the video is so incredibly long. There are 13 videos of these cutscenes, all of which I'll get into. The first, titled with an error log file name, starts with some cryptic text, all which translates to, "There is a story passed down by our people. Before time began, before space existed, there was nothing. A dark void. But one day, light appeared, and with it, life. But is life worth saving when time takes it all away? I have contemplated these words for a long time. But what if I could stop time? You are worthy to hear my story." This is assumed to be a character speaking that I will analyze later on, belonging to this part of the story exclusively. In the last video, this character is shown speaking to Hat Kid, or Henny, and explaining that his people passed down the story of the genesis of the universe. But Logan, how did Hat Kid even get to talk to this guy? I'll get into all the circumstances possible in which Hat Kid could have made contact with this character. But, later on, as I was saying, the video continues showing a desert with some structures. This is an odd sight to me. I'm pretty sure I've seen this somewhere before. That's right. This event is drawn and stuck right on Hat Kid's fridge, along with a picture of the elusive Hat Adult. This is important that Hat Kid drew this. This is a major key to the puzzle, because it clues in that either this storyline isn't a joke, or Jonas Karlov is fucking with us, which, mind you, is entirely possible. As the video continues, the video has a glitch effect, and a figure with a top hat is shown walking towards a bright yellow timepiece? Actually, this is not a timepiece. It is an artifact known as the Sun Piece. Its relevancy will come into play later on. As the figure gets closer, the video starts to glitch again, and we are all left with more cryptic text. The second part of the previously read excerpt. As of this moment in time, I cannot exactly explain what's going on here, but I will get to it eventually. In the description of this video, there's an alphanumeric code that spells out dialogue between two characters, one named Master Tempest, and the other being a character named Kavis. After accidentally referring to Master Tempest as her name, Tempest sternly reminds Kavis to call her H. Kavis then brings up the existence of the Sun Piece, and it just stops. In the next video titled simply Waiting, which is kind of spooky, we are met with something that appears to be on fire in the distance. After a sizable amount of time, We start to hear a faint heartbeat that gets louder as this image fades out, and is replaced by what looks like Hat Kid running into the distance. The alphanumerics in the description translate out to, I saw a light. Time stood still. Water stopped flowing. A feeling of heat. Suddenly I could not feel my body. A black mass lunging at the light, looking for power. My people looked upwards. A spear pierced the sky. Unknown people wearing cloaks. Lost everything. Time send. Now we wait. This is significant and starts to allow for me to describe the overall events of this story. What is occurring here is obviously an attack, but not a physical one. You see, this story operates on a higher level, and it doesn't work the same way as A Hat in Time, where the attacks are physical. The attacks, in fact, involve time manipulation, and the banishing of certain beings or entities from the whole of existence. Now, I know what you're asking. Who's being attacked? That is a simply answered question. It is obviously the same kind of aliens that Hat Kid belongs to. This attack introduces the main antagonist of the story, later on known as Shadows. Before I can actually explain what the people in the cloaks are, I have to move to something else first. The next video, titled The Founders, opens with more cryptic text, but in the description, this comes up, which appears to be a prayer to a set of entities called the Founders. O Founders, creators of time, protect us from the dark and guide us to the golden land. O guiding light, unworthy are we. Your song is eternal, that only the Founders may listen. O Moonchild, blessings upon you. We await your arrival. This is interesting. I think by now that it's probably safe to say that the Founders are the gods of this universe. Let's move on to the text in the video itself. It appears to be a monologue. When I look at time, I hear a melody. It fills me with dread, anger, and sadness. I ask existence what will become of us. I see no answer. I call out to the Founders. I hear no answer. I reach out to my master. I feel no answer. The person speaking is none other than Kavis, as proved by the video itself. After the text, it shows the realm in which the person speaking to Hat Kid exists, after the sun burning up what appears to be a planet. This will make sense later on. The next video, titled The Student, opens much like the others, with its unusual cryptic text. This translates out to, I close my eyes and hear notes. Each one is a reflection of time, and each note has an end. This is the way it has always been, as Master Tempest has always taught me. This is Kavis speaking still. What he is explaining is how his remains of his existence were shattered across space-time through, well, we'll get to that too. These videos were ordered rather horribly, and I cannot seem to get it to go in an order that works better without including information that is described later on. As the video continues, it shows more of this realm. It is entirely black and features a small, white, shimmering object that one can only assume is one kind of portal, before cutting to some kind of shrine including this text. I don't know what it means. In the description, the alphanumerics spell out, Master Tempest, you'll be taking care of this child from now on? She is your student and will accompany you on your assignments. You will teach her the way of the Founders. Her name is Pella. For her protection, you are to call her H. This is valuable information, and this is where things start to clear up and form a more coherent story. Okay, but actually, this implies that there are two Master Tempests at the same time. What does any of this have to do with Hatadult? Okay, shut up for a little while, and you'll find out. This excerpt in particular has everything to do with Hatadult. I just can't explain why yet, as I'd have to lay down events in advance. It is implied that the Founders are talking to a servant, all of which are a class of time manipulation and reality warping based warriors known as Keepers, hence the way of the Founders. Tempest had found a child named Pella, and was taking care of her, agreeing with the Founders to eventually turn her into a Keeper. However, the Founders are revealed to be tactical and covert about it, so they insist on calling Pella H for her protection. Things start to pick up a little speed in the next video, called The Sun. Like any other, it opens with a cryptic text, and that translates out to, I saw the beginning and the end. Both exist with a purpose, and cannot exist without the other. Staring deep into the blackness of the void showed me one path. The warm glow of the sun piece showed me another. Most of these excerpts are this entity speaking to Hat Kid. And yes, they have incredible relevance. Again, they list events that occur in the future. As the video progresses, it shows this shrine again before cutting off to a warp tunnel of some kind, and ending. As it stands currently, I don't really see much of a connection from the video to these messages. The description decrypts to, I finally understand, but that does not mean I forgive you. You cannot change the past, not even with that relic. Your foolishness has caused this. These people, your people, suffer because of your selfish desire, and now our timeline is dying. I am heading to the City of Dreams. Maybe the rumors are true. Find peace, my old friend. This is Cavus speaking to Pella. Again, future events. But the next video, titled War, starts with a cryptic text as usual. It translates out to, but what if there was a third? A gray melody, thick like fog, warm to the touch, but with a cold exterior. The perfect song. This is the entity describing the cosmic aspects of Cavus joining Tempus and Pella, who earns the title Lady Pella. The video appears to be a continuation of the previous one, now with the warp tunnel opening to a sun, and transitioning to a sun and some assumedly colder object hovering in space near a house. It glitches, becoming stable before it ends. This also doesn't appear to have much relevancy. However, the decrypted text does.
We acknowledge your reasons, Master Tempest, but the point remains. They are a threat to us. Their sun could challenge our moon. That is not right. Do they not have the same right to exist as we do? That is beside the point. With that power, they could trigger time's end. Master Tempest, your duty is to protect Lady Pella and teach her the way's time. She will be in danger if you do not act. Therefore, it is in your best interest. I understand.
This is where the story starts to pick up. The founders are talking to Master Tempest and explaining that this war with the shadows is an issue, and demands for a tactic to be put into place involving erasing the shadows from existence, as to not allow them to challenge the founders and keepers fairly in combat. Tempest is moral, and refuses to bring out this tactic, reasoning that despite everything, they have the same right to exist as they do. The founders insist that this is beside the point and mention that Pella is in danger, and needs to be protected as her training is not complete. Tempest reluctantly agrees with this. In the next two videos, it is revealed that the founders and the keepers are successful in their war against the shadows, however, not without a cost. The next video, titled Peace, starts with more important dialogue from this entity.
Will it hurt? Deep down I know the answer, and yet the song keeps us going. I dread the end and hold time dearly to the point of insanity, but I know deep down there's something more. I saw it long ago, and it haunted our thoughts. It always has. The path I took was not by choice. Lady Pella, Master Tempest, it was a false path you gave me.
This reveals that the entity speaking to Hatkid is indeed Cavus. Cavus then starts to describe the events by which he and Tempest, joined with a well-trained Pella, met in the description.
Lady Pella, this is a war zone, so stay close to me.
Yes, Master Tempest.
Such pointless fighting! The founders have gone too far. They have given into fear over a timeline that might not even happen. How do we know this won't trigger time's end?
Master, look! A shadow! Stay behind me while I deal with this.
Wait, you are just a child.
No, this isn't right. I will not kill an innocent creature. It is all right, little one. Come with me. I won't hurt you. Master, are you sure about this?
Yes, Pella. I taught you to follow the code of the founders, but that does not mean that you should follow blindly. Question everything and do what you think is right. I will protect this young shadow from harm because that is what I believe is right. It is okay. You are safe. Now come with me. From now on, your name will be Cavus. This also begins to reveal more of what Pella and Tempest are like. To summarize, Tempest and Pella walk into a war zone, probably near the end, and encounter a near-powerless entity seeming to be a child. Pella offers to kill it, but Tempest refuses to let her, on account that Tempest claims that the shadow is an innocent child. He then named it Cavus and tells Pella that he did teach her to obey the founders, but not to obey blindly, and that she should think more for herself. During the video, what is shown appears to be a graveyard. This can have many points of relevance, but I won't get into it.
The next video, titled The Ritual of Cleansing, starts with the following, where Kavis addresses Hatkid by her actual name. Henny, when we became whole I saw light. Heard it. But why? Why now? Why here? Was death the key? Master, why did you leave us? Kavis is talking about an event that occurred earlier in the videos. When the video starts, it shows what looks like the caves from the Subcon well. It slowly zooms in on a pedestal containing a single blue orb. This is a first-person perspective, like Error, where Kavis is going through a life-changing moment. This energy harmonizes and purifies him, and he is given the top hat, as well as a vision of the sun piece. Meanwhile, Tempest is being scolded by the Founders for bringing in a shadow. Tempest makes the same argument as he did to Pella, and that somehow shuts them up.
Master Tempest, you've gone too far. This shadow is dangerous. It is only a child. I will raise it to follow our path, and he will become a student under my care. This remains out of the question. You already have a student, and she will be in danger while that thing remains alive. We have killed this child's family, every last shadow gone. We have their sun piece. We have done enough. This timeline is safe.
This is interesting, as it seems to imply that the Shadows could have, or had the intention to corrupt or destroy the timeline through Time's End, which is an event that Mustache Girl triggered before Hatkid was able to stop her at the end of the main game. This comes into play later, but for now, Kavis is safe from judgment. This next video, titled The City of Dreams, is incredibly important, arguably the most important event of this timeline. Kavis opens by saying the following.
I looked at the light and questioned its melody. Where did it come from? How can it exist? This space where neither time nor end can reach us? It talked just like Master. Talked like her. Fought like her.
This right here. This passage makes little to no sense. The best idea I can come up with is that he's talking to himself about Hatkid. As for the alphanumerics, this is what it says. This is a realm of dreams, as it is a place of great importance. Every dream that has ever existed in the waking world can be seen in this place. Entering a dream world is dangerous, my students, but it is an important role. As keepers, we serve the Founders, and in turn protect the timeline. But know this, you must never enter the dreams of the dead. It is forbidden. Much like their physical bodies, the memory of the dead also wither away. You could get trapped, or worse, fall into the void. When I was younger, I saw that darkness up close. I stared deep into its abyss, and I felt my life energy being pulled into a cold and dark place of nothing. We lost many good keepers before the Founders forbade any further ventures, and not a single keeper has returned from the void. I truly pity them, but enough of that. Let us continue our lesson. Take out your book. This, I'd assume, is Master Tempest speaking to Pella and Kavis. But it's interesting, as it appears to reveal the connection and experience Tempest has to teach the two about cosmic workings of the universe. But notice how he mentions never to enter the dreams of the dead, saying that one could get trapped and wither away like some of the other keepers did. Sound familiar? Yes. This further confirms that Kavis is not only the one speaking to Hatkid, but also doomed himself to wither away by staring into the void. This is further confirmed by showing Kavis in the void in the later part of the video. This is where things in the story start to fall apart. In the next video, titled The Lies of Truth. A paradoxical title for good reason. When the video opens, it starts with dialogue not only from Kavis, but also Master Tempest.
I touched and it touched back. It flowed like words in a book. Is this the song I am looking for? The truth filled me with rage, but now I feel free. Perhaps death's blanket gave me time, and your spirit gave me the end I was seeking. Kavis, please remain behind. We have much to discuss.
Assumedly, this is Kavis explaining that he looked into an aforementioned dead people's dreams and saw the void, but he didn't know that his people had been destroyed by the Keepers on the Founders' orders. This escalates even further with the alphanumeric spelling out. The death of Master Tempest is a great loss. The death of Master Tempest is a great loss. Indeed, Lady Pella, as his former student, you will take on the title of Tempest, and become a master. You have completed your trials, and walked the path of cleansings. Retire to your quarters. We will summon you again soon. Now we're cooking with gas. The intro to the cutscene implied that Cavus had killed Tempest, and in the next video, it actually reveals dialogue that shows this to be true. However, we need to talk about the video itself before we get into the next one. As the video starts, it shows some kind of set of shrines. As it shows the lower part of the scene, you see Pella standing in front of them. It shows Cavus standing in front of them next. This shows the difference between the two. Similar hats, however both are dressed in black, and Cavus is much taller than Pella. The next one, the betrayal of the sun, is where things really start to get pieced together. No pun intended. The opening dialogue is from Pella. The Founders told me everything. You killed Master Tempest. Why did you do it, Cavus? The alphanumerics are his response. You exist, I exist, we exist. So long as there is time, there will always be an end. I sought the answers, and existence responded with the song, the melody of life. This is ordered badly, so let me explain that this is Cavus. But there is more from the Founders' perspective than Cavus again. The Founders say, Cavus has betrayed us. Hunt him down and take back the Sun Piece before it's too late. My home, no, a memory of what just once was. Just ice. You extinguished my light. Then Cavus, assumedly cornered by Pella, responds to her with, Pella, I saw it all. I saw the dreams of my people, and I will travel back to the day you found me. I will stop it from happening, and then no one has to die. I will stop time itself. No more will the sun or moon cast light upon this world. Now, this is important. More so than most things that have been said already. Cavus plans to use the timepieces in conjunction with the sun piece that he stole to go back in time and stop the day where Pella and Tempest find him. However, Pella is aware that this could trigger time's end. Cavus, however, has good intentions in his own sort of warped, twisted way. In the next video, Cavus opens by telling the Founders to screw off, explaining that his new gained power will allow him to surpass that of the Founders. Which makes sense, considering that the Founders themselves had the Keeper confiscate the sun and timepieces, reasoning that the shadows could trigger time's end, which is the name of the next video. O Founders, creators of time, lied to us, did not guide us to the Golden Land, killed my master, and almost killed me. The guiding moonlight, the twisted sun, all meaningless against the power of the void. Now, there's also the beginning, which is probably Pella in response, considering she is the main subject of the video. During the video, we see something strange. Pella did not die from the encounter with Cavus, but is trapped in this timeline's end. After a short glimpse of where Cavus went, we see Pella leave through a portal. But where did she go? This story is suddenly cut off by Cavus in the next video. He explains to Hat Kid that this story is one of the previous timeline, and that the timepieces brought destruction to it. During the video, we see Cavus talking to Hat Kid, but here is exactly what he said. This is my story. I've waited here in this dark void for a long time, although truthfully, time has no meaning here. In the past, I often wondered, what good is time if it takes everything away? This is why I wanted your timepiece. It has the power I needed to fix my past mistakes. But you are strong, much stronger than I. You look just like my master. I hope she found peace. Listen, when you leave this place, I will return to the darkness. I will cease to exist. That power you hold in my timeline, our pieces, brought ruin to this world. Perhaps you will be wiser. Use the power for the right things, at least for the things you believe in. So long as we're remembered, the fire will never burn out. Moonchild, always remember us. This is confirmation of several things. One, this is indeed Cavus, like absolutely, for sure. But notice how Cavus says that Hat Kid looks exactly like Pella. And Hat Kid is stronger than Cavus. But notice how Cavus also says that Pella is in fact still alive. Hat Adult is Pella. This makes too much sense not to be true, because A, we've established that Cavus explained that Pella looks exactly like Hat Kid, and B, because now we know that Hat Kid and Hat Adult are two different people, both possessing hats giving them their special powers. Cavus admits that he messed up royally, and wants Hatkid's timepiece to try and correct it. I want to draw one more point here. When we officially see Pella later, as Hadadult, she is in a city similar to England in the early 1900s. She comes out of a bookstore called Time's End, and looks into the nearby window. The books seen here are oddly convenient. Hansel and Gretel and Autour de la Lune, which means Around the Moon in French. Around the Moon is a book by Jules Verne, who wrote classics like Journey to the Center of the Earth, 2,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and many others. I don't believe this has much significance, other than taking place in a forest, and the other one taking place in space. I think the developers did this on purpose, as they seem to want to get rid of any trace of this other story, and keep it cut as a story that no one cares about. Which is perfectly fine, as going in another direction with your game is perfectly reasonable. But one has to ask why, and perhaps learn about it if interested, as I and many others are. This whole other storyline seems to do a good job of explaining the timepieces and their power, as well as Hatkid's insistence on keeping the timepieces to herself. We already knew beforehand what the timepieces could do, like reversing time as seen in Down with the Mafia mission ending, where Mustache Girl accidentally dropped one in reverse time. Why it was scrapped is beyond me. I say scrapped because if this was a joke, it was one hell of one, and seemed to have way too much work, including encrypting messages in different codes, and a made-up language, as well as cutscenes that look better than the original goddamn game. But anyways, that's all I have on that. This video is probably going to be hopelessly long, and I'm sure that Melanie is going to have a great time editing. See you guys in my FNAF shitpost that I'm doing soon.